Guess what? I was just promoted.
Wow, Lodi! Sana all! Asinsuka ka na! Pa-burger ka naman!
Salamat, pare. This is it, Pansit. I have waited for this since 19 kopong-kopong.
Tara, let's baguettes to Jollibee. Tom Jones na ako eh. Ikaw magbayad ha?
Carrie bells.
Hello everyone, welcome to Banana Q Podcast. My name is Rey and I'm with my co-host Dee. Today, we will be talking about common Filipino expressions that non-Filipinos can use to impress Filipinos they know. As OFWs, we have experienced being asked by foreigners to teach them Filipino words, and while we can teach them Mabuhay and Magandang Umaga, it's not really that interesting.
Yeah, I think that's too boring, frankly, right? So, I will start with the one simple word that made my Singaporean friends a hit with all the Filipinos they interacted with. And that word is pare, which is the equivalent of buddy. Note that this is only for males though. The female equivalent is mare, but that for some reason is not as commonly used. I mean, I think it used to be in the past, but nowadays I think women tend to refer to each other as sis or girl.
Oh yeah,
right?
sis
Yeah, why is
or
that?
girl. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I think just steer away from that. But pare definitely is common. And every time my Singaporean friends use this word in their conversations with Filipinos, they broke into laughter and immediately made them warm up. You can just insert it into any sentence like, pare, do you have an update on my issue? Or maybe thank them by saying, salamat pare. It's a guarantee shoe in, yeah.
If you forgot the name of your Filipino friend, like pare is the
Oh, yeah.
automatic replacement. You can call any Filipino you know pare. But if you happen to know if that Filipino speaks Bisaya or if he lives in Cebu, in the Visayas, or in Mindanao, instead of pare, you can call that person bay. So bay is the Bisaya equivalent of pare.
Yeah.
But actually, if you use bay too much, it has a different meaning in English, right? Like, it seems like you are a bisexual. Why are you calling him bi? Is he bi?
Do you know something?
Right? Because I actually had a friend in Singapore ask me that question. Like, hey, why do you call each other bi?
Oh, really? That's so funny.
I keep, I try to explain, no, we're not bi. It's just that, that's how we call dude or pare, or how friends call each other in Bisaya. Especially if you meet a lot of people in one go. So say, for example, you attended a party and then your friend introduces you to a lot of new people and you can't remember their names like automatically.
Yeah.
Right? You need to kind of digest all those names. So a quick survival guide is to use bye on everyone.
True.
And you can get by.
That's a good point, yeah. And then, if you go out, when you leave the party, you tell them, bye. Okay, that's too many.
Bye.
Yes. Yeah.
So Backstreet Boys were all Bisaya.
No, that's
Bye,
NSYNC,
bye.
right?
Oh, sorry.
And speaking of, a joke that we have in Philippines, right, is two people talking to each other. The first one, he's about to go into the lift and then he asks the other one, bababa ba? And the other one says,
yes.
bababa. That was like, what? How did that make sense? And that actually is a full conversation. The first one is asking, is it going down? And the second one is saying, yes, it's going down. Right?
Yes. Ba. So an entire conversation made up of just one syllable.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Okay, so the third phrase that I will teach is Eddie Wow. And it's a sarcastic phrase that Filipinos use to comment on someone who has praised themselves or bragged about their achievements. So you're saying wow but sarcastically, like you don't really mean it, right? Like somebody's probably bragging, oh, I made 100,000 pesos or something, and they're saying, Eddie wow, right?
Wow. You na.
Yeah, ikaw na is another term that you would
Ikaw na.
follow up with this. You're like saying that you're the one, but also sarcastically, right? So yeah, if you want to piss off people. So maybe if you're trying to impress people, don't say this. So just
And the next expression is anak ng tokwa. So this literally translates to the son or the daughter of tofu.
Yeah, like which, huh? Does not make sense. Why is that even
But
an
this is
expression? Okay.
This is a euphemism to anak ng tut, which is the equivalent of the son of a bitch or the son of a whore.
Yeah.
And we exchange tokwa with a lot of other stuff as well, like anak ng pating. So pating is a shark. And anak ng tipaklong. What's a tipaklong? Is it turtle?
That's a grasshopper.
A grasshopper.
I know, I've heard that somewhere in movies or
Tipaklong.
whatever. But it's very difficult to pronounce. Right?
Anak ng tipaklong. So I think anak ng tokwa is better. But if it's on Halloween, so October 31st, you can use anak ni Janice. Anak ni Janice, which is Chanak,
Yeah.
which we covered in our Halloween Aswang episode.
Yes.
But I think anak ng tokwa is better.
Yeah. I think that's the more common one as well, isn't it? And it maybe because it's short. Tipaklong, you might you have a tongue twister or whatever. Yeah, I think it's more common.
And I like it because pating, tipaklong, Janice, they all can have a baby. They can have a anak. But a tofu, it's a non-living being, right? Like, how can you become a son or a daughter of a tofu?
Okay. Right.
So I like it. So it's moronic kind of expression.
I see. So it's very clearly an expression. Okay. Another example of a weird expression is Ikibayo, which is an exclamation used by people like our friend Gemma when they're startled, right? Like they're walking along, they trip on something. Ikibayo. So it literally means, oh, horse, which to foreigners might not make any sense. Again, like with the son of a tofu, right? So when I told my Singaporean friends about this, they couldn't wrap their heads around why anyone would ever say such a nonsensical phrase. And they finally deduced that maybe Gemma likes to say it because ma means horse in Mandarin, and her name is Gemma.
Ikibayo, Gemma.
Yeah, I think they were just really confused about why she would say that, right? But anyway, it was like, okay, they had a point. Like, okay, I myself did not really know why this expression exists, right? So I tried Googling and I got into a rabbit hole, which led me to a Reddit thread. And someone on this thread said, someone named he. Okay,
That's Michael Jackson.
maybe. So he said, I heard someone say, oh, horse once in Spanish. And I was like, lol, what? Ay caballo. And then Narva S said, nope, you probably heard ay carallo with R. Very common in northern Spain, used for swearing. FYI, a carallo is a penis. So you probably heard oh dick. And then somebody else, Irato, said, yeah, sounds like a muffled version of carajo or carallo, probably trying to avoid using the actual word and replacing it with a similar one. So it's kind of like anak ng pating and anak ng tokwa, right? So you're trying, maybe our ancestors, because as Filipinos, we don't want to say bad words. So they heard an expression that their Spanish boss was saying, and then they tried to
censor.
Yeah, to censor
Instead
it.
of
Yeah.
The R18 version, the funnier and child-friendly version is ay caballo, oh horse.
Okay. Now we know.
I still use that expression,
Yeah,
Like,
because of Gemma.
Because of Jim. Whenever I'm startled, like surprise, I would shriek like ay caballo.
Yeah.
I would use ay caballo still.
Yeah, actually.
What is it in English?
It's just a nonsensical phrase, right?
Americans, they use the F word a lot, right? Like if they're genuinely surprised, they would say F word.
Or the S word. They turn it into shoot or sugar or,
Yeah.
so maybe it's something like
And
that.
the F word as well, they turn it to fart.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's similar.
So something like that, yes.
Ay caballo. And the next one is pa-burger ka naman. So the English translation of this is, hey, treat me some burger. Buy me some burger. why did this happen? Like, I don't know.
Maybe it's Jollibee who sponsored
So
this.
this happens when there's something to celebrate about, right? So when somebody got a promotion or a raise or any achievement at all, you can say this phrase and, as a way of asking, hey, give me some food or treat me some food. In the Philippines, it's that way, right? Like you're supposed to, I don't want to use the word supposed, but people are expected to give back to their friends in a way of maybe treating them or paying for dinner or lunch whenever something good happens to that person. But in Singapore, it doesn't happen that way, right? People would pay individually. Like say, if it's your birthday, you go to a restaurant, people would pay for you, not the other way around.
Yeah. I think it's only in Philippines so that we that the birthday celebrant is the one who's supposed to pay. Yeah, last year I went to a birthday dinner with a friend. She's from UK. And then at the end, I was expecting that I would have to pay, right? Or KKB, or that's another term, by the way. It means kanya-kanyang bayad. Or you each pay for your own meal. And then in the end, she said, no, I'm paying for this. The birthday girl never pays. And I said, no, not in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, the birthday boy and girl pays for everybody's lunch or dinner.
Yeah. But I don't know about promotions though. Maybe in Singapore, you are expected to treat.
Well, I suppose it depends on what burger you would give, right? If you give minute burger, it's just 15 pesos and I think it's buy one take one.
Okay.
So maybe the bill will not be that big after. But if you pay, say, a more expensive burger from a fancy restaurant, then yeah, that's something that I won't be able to afford. Sorry, dude. No burger for you. Only minute burger.
But, I suspect that this pa-burger thing probably came from some ad or something. Could be McDonald's or Jollibee who had an ad. Because it
you're
sounds
right.
familiar. So it could have been.
Burger.
Is that an ad? I'm thinking of
I don't know.
Chicken Joy for isa pang Chicken Joy, but that's different. Okay, never mind. We don't know. I tried Googling. I couldn't find anything. So, yeah, maybe I'm just imagining things, or it's just like, buried. Maybe it was an 80s ad or 90s ad or whatever, right?
Yeah, but when you say this, you have to be endearing, right? Pa-burger ka naman.
Yeah. Okay, so my next phrase is, bahala na si Batman. Okay, so in that same thread that I mentioned earlier, there was somebody who mentioned some expressions in the Philippines, and one of them was bahala na si Batman. And the people were commenting on it, like this guy, Komalitu, said, why aren't more people commenting on the Batman thing? I need to live there now. And then somebody explained, Expat Adobo said, the Batman thing is actually legit. It comes from bahala na sa Batala. Bathala being the original word for God in Filipino or Tagalog. Westernization and street slang over the years managed to change Bathala into Batman. Plus, Batman is badass. So there you go. That is where that came from.
It is a bit strange, right? Like, Batman? Like, there's a Filipino expression with Batman.
Yes, but they find it funny that there's an expression about Batman. But anyway, the meaning of this is that you're saying that, you know what, whatever, I don't care. I just leave it all to Batman.
Que sera.
Yes, exactly.
Que sera.
Whatever will be, will be.
Bahala na si Batman.
Yeah.
And the next one is sana all. So the translation to this is, oh, I wish I have that too. So it's like you being jealous to somebody's fame and fortune. So this funny remark and popular hugot line. So hugot line is, I don't know, what is hugot line?
Hugot is a poll, right? So I think usually hugot is a term that is used for lines when you're, very emotional. It's usually like a line from
Emo.
Yeah, an emo song or something, right?
And it refers to that concept of wanting what another person already has. For instance, if someone has a lot of money, you can say something like, oh, sana all, to mean that you also want the same thing. So it's like similar to pa-burger ka naman, right? When you want that. So you're hoping that, oh, sana all, I hope everyone has that.
Exactly, yeah.
I hope everyone is as glamorous as you or as famous as you, something like that.
Yeah,
Sana
you're right. Yeah, sana actually means,
hope. I hope all.
yeah, I hope all. is the literal translation, which, okay, doesn't make sense. At least you know that sana is a word that means hope, or I hope, I guess, kind of. I guess there's a silent I somewhere in there.
Hope all. I hope all.
Yeah, it should be I hope, right? Or else it doesn't make sense. Yeah. The next expression is Sus Mariosep, which is a funny wordplay to know, and it is used as an interjection or an expression again, like could be also used, well, maybe not so much as startled, but yeah, when do you actually use Sus Mariosep?
It's when you're surprised on a negative event,
I guess so.
right?
Yeah.
So, say for example, a kid does something foolish and then, oh, sus Maria Joseph, like Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, help, help.
Yeah, and that's what he just said, right? That's actually the three holy names that is rolled into one. So, Sus, Jesus, Mar is Mary, and Joseph, right, is Joseph. So I guess it's also could be also an equivalent of oh my God, maybe something like that. Basically, you're calling on deities or whatever. So whenever you use oh my God, you swap this instead. Maybe it will work.
Yeah.
Do you think it will work in Friends? If they dub Friends Tagalog, they Tagalize Friends. You know, Janice, is she going to say Sus Mario Sep? Okay, maybe not.
Chandler Bing, Sus Mario Sep.
It doesn't have the same.
That's. No, I think it will catch on. If somebody who hasn't listened to or watched Friends in English, and then the dub version says Sus Mario Sep, I think it will catch on. I think that will be a good line.
Okay.
Especially for us, right? Because we know what it is.
Oh, yeah, true. That would be funny.
The next one is Kalapating Mababa ang lipat. So the translation is a dove that flies low. And the meaning is a person who is a whore or a prostitute.
Yeah, I have a question though. Why is this ever going to be used by a foreigner?
No, I think when you're having a conversation with a Filipino friend, and then you saw somebody maybe doing a walk of shame, and then you don't want that person to know what you are talking about, then you will say, oh, she's a kalapating mababa ang lipad. Oh, I see.
Okay.
So if that person hears you talking about that, that person wouldn't understand, right? So now you know, kalapating mababa ang lipad. This is actually popularized by a song.
Yeah.
Right?
Magdalena.
Freddie Aguilar. Yeah, Magdalena.
Yeah. So there's a long where Kalapating mababa ang lipad. Magdalena.
Ikaw ay sawing palad. Oh, I feel bad for Magdalena.
Yeah, poor Magdalena.
Wait, this is in the previous expression, you were talking about Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, biblical names, and now Magdalena as well.
Oh, yeah, you're right. She was an actual prostitute in the Bible, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, this is making a connection. This is also biblical. Is it really biblical though? What is actually the origin of this expression, right? I think we found it, right?
Yeah, according to this, this popular euphemism for a prostitute, kalapating mababa ang lipad, has its beginnings in the back room alley of Tondo, which is a town in the Philippines, where existed a red light district called Palomar. So Palomar is Spanish for a dovecot or a pigeon shed. Existed with palomas, proffering various leisure services.
Okay.
I see.
Interesting.
So because of that place, it's now, oh, she must be working in Palomar. So she's a kalapati, she's a dove, but because she only flies low, she can't actually reach the tree. She just goes to Palomar.
Okay. Okay, that's a reach, but yes, I think basically, yeah, the juxtaposition of the dove and whatever, yeah, but there's a lot of expressions that, get born because of those kinds of situations, right? So, yeah. That origin, we got this from this website, Filipino.net. And the next one is also from that website. And it's 19 kopong kopong. No, actually, I don't know if people still use this. Maybe people have not been using this term since 19 kopong kopong. But why don't we tell people about this anyway, just in case, right? So it refers to a time so long ago that nobody remembers anymore. How would you use this in the sentence? For example, you would say, oh, the last time I saw you was in 19 kopong kopong. Or something like that, yeah. So the origin of this one is that by the 1950s, the decade of the 1900s was considered a long time ago. When people wanted to refer to an event in the forgotten past, they reckoned that it happened sometime in the 1900s, hence 19 kopong kopong. Now, kopong is an Indonesian word that was also used in the Philippines, meaning no content, empty. Thus, zilch or zero, as in 1900. It's actually the first time I've learned about this though, right? Isn't this interesting?
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
about
I
that.
used 19 kopong kopong, but I had no idea that it meant something. I just thought it was an expression.
19 kopong kopong. Oh, you're so old. You must be from 19 kopong kopong.
Okay, maybe don't say that. That sounds offensive.
Well, how else would you use it?
That's what I said. At least, in a light context. Like, oh, the last time I played with dolls was in 19 kopong kopong. Referring to something a long time ago.
If you happen to meet somebody and you haven't seen each other for a long time, sometimes we would say, oh, long time no see, but now see now.
Oh, yeah. That's a Bisaya term though, right? I think I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a Bisaya term.
I think it's because of see now.
Yeah, see now is like shiny. So you're like saying, it's a long time no see, but now your head is shiny. I don't know.
Is that what it means? Maybe. I have no idea.
I think so. But now see now.
Probably. I don't know. I think Bisaya people just like, or maybe not just Bisaya, but generally people just like, have like puns, I guess. Or like words that sound like each other and whatnot.
That's right. That's right. Then the next one is, populutin ka sa kangkungan. So this means a summary execution of a person who has committed an offense or crime without the benefit of a trial. So to salvage somebody. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you want to warn somebody, hey, you shouldn't go out at night too late, or you shouldn't drink alone because otherwise, pupulutin ka sa kangkungan.
Okay.
It's very ominous. Something might happen to you, something bad that you will, someone will salvage you and your body won't be found until, your body's floating and it's already in the kangkungan. Kangkungan, by the way, kangkong is, what is that? Radish? What's kangkong?
Not
mean?
horseradish. I think it's water something.
Watercress?
I don't think so. There is a term for it. Wait, let's see. What is?
Because kangkong is also in Singapore, right?
Yeah.
They call it
I just
kangkong.
completely forgot what it's called. Let's see. Swamp cabbage or river spinach.
If you get salvaged, your body will be found in the river spinach farm or something like that. So the origin of this is, it's a way of disposing the bodies of people killed by summary execution, to hide it under a dense growth of kangkong or swamp cabbage. The semi-aquatic plant grows in profusion on swampy fields and on bodies of water like the Pasig River, where such victims' cadavers are regularly fished out. Philippine media has popularized this expression in their reporting of salvaging cases.
If you think about it, salvaging as it is used in the Philippines is different to how it's used elsewhere, right?
Oh, is it?
I mean, think about it. If you're saying salvage, you're trying to save something, right? Why don't we look at the dictionary what it actually means? Salvage meaning.
So this one is like vigilante killing, right? Like extrajudicial killing.
Okay, now it says here, usually salvage means rescue, right? An emerald and gold cross was salvaged from the wreck. But in the Philippines, see, in this dictionary, there's really a segment for Philippines. Apprehend and execute without trial. So it's really just in the Philippines that we use salvage in that
I see.
way. Okay.
It's a Filipino term for extrajudicial killing.
Yeah.
Salvage.
Yep.
But I always hear this expression in movies.
Yes.
Like Fernando Poe Jr. or the ex-president Era Ejercito Estrada, they would always, Pupulutin ka sa kangkungan.
Yes.
And then they would usually holster their gun. Something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe you wouldn't really use this in a normal everyday context, honestly. We just wanted to discuss this because it was in Filipino.net, I suppose. And then, and now we have told you about the salvage. If you hear it in the Philippines, it doesn't mean what you think it means. It's a different context, right?
You won't be saved.
Yeah. If someone says, I will salvage you, you shouldn't say, oh, thank you, because that is not what you think it means.
You're right.
So the next expression is Carrie. So I have a story about this, right? One time over lunch, my Singaporean friend suddenly asked me, what does Carrie boom mean? And I thought it was such a random question. It turns out that a Filipino had just said it in their chat. So I explained saying it means can. By the way, can is an expression in Singlish. They say it as short term for yes, it can be done, or yes, I can do it. For example, there is this joke I heard where a foreigner tells a waiter, can I order a can of Heineken? And the Singaporean waiter replies, cannot, bottle can.
What does that mean?
So the waiter is saying, you cannot order a can of Heineken, but you can order a bottle of Heineken.
Cannot, bottle can.
Yes. So, carry is kind of like that too, right? But it's from the English word carry. Maybe the first time it was used, it was referring to something heavy. I don't know. Like maybe somebody asked Pedro, hey, Pedro, can you carry this huge tank of Heinekens? And he replied, carry. I don't know. And maybe that's why it became like that instead of can. Yeah, but anyway, my friend had used the term carry boom because that is actually a derivative of that. And another one is carry bells. So it's why you can use it either just by itself. Like somebody asks you, hey, do you think we can have brunch on Sunday? And you say carry. You can also say carry bells or carry boom, whichever. And people will understand. Why is carry bells anyway? What does it even mean? And well, to be fair,
It's just making it more jingly. Bells. Carry bells.
I guess.
Yeah, you're right. Where is it from? Carry bells.
I don't know. I think Filipinos just like to change words a bit. Like flip it around or add words to it to make it a bit different. Like even names of people, right? Like I suddenly remember that my friend used to call me Didi Bells. So that's Carry bells.
Didi bells.
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think, as I said, Filipinos just like to add cutesy syllables or whatever, right?
I see.
Yeah.
You're right. And you've mentioned about flipping words around, and we do have that in the Philippines as well, most especially in the gay lingo.
Yeah.
So we like flipping, not necessarily words, sometimes syllables around. Like, say, for example, the Filipino word for hungry is gutom, and we would sometimes flip that and say Tom Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gutom Tom Jones. Because Tom Gu is like, oh, Tom Gu. No, Tom Jones is better.
Yeah, and Tom Jones is the name of a singer, right? And that's probably why it became popular. Although I didn't realize that because isn't he a very old singer?
Yeah, I think in the 50s maybe.
Yeah, I didn't even know him. That's why that expression made no sense to me before.
Oh, Sir Thomas Jones. He's a knight.
Whoa, okay. So he's British.
So he's a Welsh singer. And Delilah was his.
Oh,
Delilah.
my. Yes, Delilah. Yeah.
I see. So Tom Jones, we know now.
We're sorry, Tom Jones. They should know you because that is a very popular song, right?
So people usually use this like, oh, let's go to Jollibee because Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Because I'm hungry because Tom Jones. And next one is lodi, to mean idol. So if you like somebody, you're impressed with somebody's, I don't know, technique or skill, and you said, oh, lodi, meaning you're my idol. Lodi.
Why isn't it lodi though? I mean, since it's pronounced as idol, I'm just wondering. Maybe it's too weird sounding.
Because I think lodi sounds like a Bisaya term for hello in Dai. Lodi. Isn't it?
Yes, sure.
I think lodi sounds cool.
Yeah,
Lodi.
maybe it just sounds cool. Yeah, so they just reverse the spelling of idol.
And then the next one is a flip of the term that you introduced earlier, pare.
Mm-hmm.
It's not rape, but it's repa peeps.
It's so confusing, right?
Repa peeps.
I think you could have just
So
said
pare.
repa, right? Because you just flip pare. But then maybe it sounds not complete, and that's why they made it like the Carrie bells. And that's why pips in there, right?
Repa peeps. Peeps, I think, is also okay, right?
Yeah,
Peeps for
people.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
Repa peeps.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is like the plural for pare. Isn't
Ah.
it? Like when you're addressing a group of guys, a gang of boys,
Mm.
and you say pare, you're only referring to one guy. But if guys, repa peeps.
Okay.
Repa
Maybe.
peeps, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Makes sense.
Sure.
And the next one is, it's similar to idol. Like if somebody is displaying a very interesting skill, like maybe a chef doing the flipping using a wok, and you're impressed, and you will say, Pet Malu, which is a flip of malupet. The literal meaning of malupit is strict, right? Like your teacher is strict, malupit.
Yeah, it's actually bad, but I guess it's an ironic use of the word. At the same time, it's flipped. So this is a very confusing word, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. So a flip of a flip. But isn't English the same? Like there are words that
yeah.
are negative, but they in English for some reason in slang it's actually the opposite. And I can't think of an example right now. But
Yeah, I think there's an expression that, yeah, something. Yeah, right. But it's actually sarcasm, right? You actually mean that you don't believe the person who told you, right?
that's true.
Yeah, but malupit, you
something-
mean? Are you trying to think of malupit but in English form? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Wicked.
Yeah.
How about wicked?
Yeah, wicked.
Oh, that's so sick, bro. Yeah, how about sick?
That's sick.
Sick is
Yeah.
actually bad, right? Because you're sick, but then it actually means good. So I guess this is it. Malupit, pet malu. So how would you flip sick? Kiss. Okay, that doesn't... You're not gonna say, that's so kiss, bro, huh? What?
So it's like, oh, I just got COVID, but now I'm okay. Oh, you're okay? That's so sick. No, I'm no longer sick. No, that's sick. I just told you I'm now okay, but that's sick, bro. That's so sick.
Yeah.
That is so confusing.
That is so confusing. But yes, that is a perfect example of malupit.
Pet malu.
Yes, so we do like to switch words around, and also for names sometimes. Like someone will call you Toynan. Okay, maybe not. That seems weird. But I think people do that. I remember someone, his surname was Ito. And guys in the Philippines like to call each other by their surnames, right? Before.
That happens was during high school.
Oh yeah, I think so. So since his surname was Ito, his nickname was To Eats.
I see. So it's... Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, during high school, we call ourselves by the last name.
Yeah, that's common. Yeah.
Was it because during a roll call, we were called by our last name?
That's entirely possible. Or maybe it sounds cool if you call each other by your last name. And but it's usually guys who do that. I think it's more common with guys. I don't know why.
Maybe because our teachers also call us by our last name, no?
Yeah. But then why on earth would you just call each other by your surnames then?
Yeah, that is a bit strange.
So maybe it's a macho context. I don't have no idea.
Maybe.
Anyway, okay, we're thinking way too much about this. Okay, and we are getting a nosebleed, which is the perfect
Segue.
setup to the next word. Nosebleed. So this is a term that we have used a few times actually in our previous podcast. Well, everybody knows what nosebleed means, so I don't need to translate this. But in the Philippine context, this is a joke we use when we are having a hard time understanding something. Right? And then we say this as if to say that we are having a figurative nosebleed from the mental torture. So, like I just said, I illustrated earlier, but I think this is commonly used though in like if somebody speaks English and the words are too deep, you think, and I say nosebleed, nosebleed. Usually we say that
Yes.
in that scenario, or when there's a foreigner and you, oh my God, I don't understand. I don't want to speak in English. Nosebleed, nosebleed, right?
Nosebleed.
Yeah.
Or even if it's just not necessarily a different language, but also it's like somebody who discusses to you a very deep topic. Say, for example, all of a sudden a stranger asks you and talks to you about maybe subprime mortgage crisis. It's like, oh, what is that? Nosebleed.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and then sometimes other people would like say that it is so bad that it's worse than a nosebleed, right? Like, oh, not just nosebleed, but even my brain is bleeding, or I'm bleeding from every pore in my
Hemorrhage.
body or whatever. Yeah. Now
Nosebleed.
you know that, if you're a foreigner in the Philippines and you speak to someone in English and they say that, that's what it means. They're just saying that, oh, I don't understand you because you're speaking words that are too deep. Yeah.
Yes, nosebleed. And after your nose has bled and you want to part ways with your friend, you can say, tapos na ang boxing. So the meaning is, it is finished, it is doomed, and it's done. So the literal meaning is, the boxing is finished. Right? So the origin of this is, during the Japanese occupation, tapos na ang boxing was a favorite expression of teenagers. Boxing was a sport promoted and encouraged by Americans in the 1920s. So, for pro-Japanese elements, the expression meant that America was finished and that MacArthur would never return to the Philippines. But for those who continued to believe in America's promise, they used the phrase to denote that Japan would ultimately fall. Tapos na ang boxing.
I see. Okay, so it was such a long time ago when that expression was coined. And it had a deeper meaning, right? It's not just
Yes, yes.
because you're watching Manny Pacquiao and his fight is done. That's not it.
I don't know, but every time I hear the word boxing, there's a product that comes to my mind, and it's family rubbing alcohol.
Oh yeah, because there was an ad, right? It was in the boxing
Di
ring.
lang pang pamilya,
Pang sports spotting. Right. That is why you think of that, because the
Yes.
ad actually is in a boxing ring, right? And then and somebody wins, and then what's the name of the guy, the referee or something?
The referee.
Is he the
yeah.
one who announces the winner, right? He raises the arm of the winner, and
Yes.
then he brings out the rubbing alcohol.
It's not just for family, it's also for
Sports.
right? Di lang pang pamilya, pang sports spotting.
So this is the last one. So this is how to end things, right? Aside from the boxing thing, you could also say, that's it, pansit. And I think if you've heard this, we say this a lot when we're ending our episodes, right? Don't worry, this is not the end of that. This is just the last phrase, but it's not at the end. Don't turn off the radio. I was gonna say radio. We are not on radio. Like, don't go away right now, right? So that's it, pansit. So just like Americans, you also like to rhyme. So like how they say, see you later, alligator. In a while, crocodile. So Filipinos also do that. So you could just add on a rhyming word at the end of the phrase you're saying. For example, let's go, sago. Tara, let's, baguettes. Okay, this one is a bit more complicated. Tara, let's, baguettes. Maybe let's break this down. Tara is come and let's is also come. So you're saying let's go, but in a weird way.
You're actually repeating your message, right? Tara, let's go. Tara, let's.
Yeah, but you let go of the go because you want to say baguettes to rhyme with the let's. And baguettes, by the way, is an old, maybe 80s term which refers to young people. Maybe, I think there was a show called Baguettes with Aga Mulak, apparently. I didn't actually get to watch this because this was before my
Me too.
time. But then, yes, so that's what it means. There's also, why not chocnut? Chocnut is
Why not?
popular chocolate in the Philippines, by the way. That's what it is. Or what's up, buttercup?
What's up, Buttercup?
It's just because of the song, why do you build me up, buttercup baby?
What's up, Buttercup?
Yeah. Is there
like
anything else that you could think of? I asked my friends, and then for some reason we can't think of anything beyond this. Can you?
Pen, di Sarah Pen.
That is not an expression. That is a poem. That is a nursery rhyme, and that is different. But yeah, I mean, right now we cannot think of anything, but we do like to say these things. So I'm sure after this we will remember something. But yeah, those are the kinds of things that we like to rhyme. And yeah, that is it. Pansit, yeah.
And then that is it. Pansit. Tapos na ang boxing.
Yes.
So to close this episode, we want to say that we hope you learned something from us and to go forth and impress your Filipino friends, colleagues, IT supports, whoever it is. Because we generally, like as Filipino, right? If we hear a foreigner use Filipino words, I don't know, we would easily befriend that person
Yes.
because we kind of are attracted to people who at least attempt to learn something that is Filipino.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
Like, not just words, but if somebody likes Manny Pacquiao, ultimately, kind of, we would easily be. I don't know. I can't put my finger around it, but
I mean, your heart
You know what I
opens
mean?
up, I guess, to this person because you feel like they made an effort.
yeah, no matter how difficult that person is, if that person says this is it, pansit, I was like, what? What
Yeah.
did you just say? Even if that person was an ass to you, but if he uses kind of a strange Filipino expression, my thinking and my impression of that person would totally change.
Yeah, can you imagine a Japanese guy saying that to you? You would definitely
Yeah.
flip.
Exactly.
You would say, rip up hips.
Yeah. So if you're a foreigner and due to your work, due to your circumstance, you would have to ask for a lot of favors from Filipinos, then yeah, try it out, man. Try using any of these expressions. For sure that Filipino would warm up to you very, very quickly.
Yeah, I can vouch for that because my friends in Singapore, they did that, like, especially IT, because a lot of IT people are sourced out to the Philippines, right? Because it's cheaper there or something, I don't know. And then usually
And
they
call
would,
center agents.
yeah, they would know, okay, I think this guy's name sounds Filipino. Do you think he's Filipino? And then I would say, why don't you try out and call him pare and see what happens? And usually when they do, the IT guy would be like, oh, you know how Filipino is. Suddenly they're speaking Tagalog, like, okay, I do not understand everything he just said.
And guess what? Your IT ticket, that will be solved really quickly.
Yeah, guaranteed. Yes, yeah, because
Guaranteed.
they would warm up to you, and we hope that you learn something. And then even if you're Filipino and you already know these things, I hope that you will share this episode with your foreigner friends so that they could learn something. But also, I hope that we were able to give you suggestions on what to teach people who ask you to teach them Filipino words, right? Because sometimes, you're like put on the spot and you're like, mabuhay, and that's not really, it's very common. But don't be that evil person who teaches them bad words and pretend that it means something else. Okay?
This sounds really familiar. I was a victim of this when one of these friends taught me the Chavacano word chinga. And they said to me that it meant, oh, you're beautiful. But it actually means the F word. Right? So please, if you have any other Filipino phrases that you think should be taught to our foreigner friends, not chinga, please let us know by leaving us a comment on our Instagram at Bananaki Podcast so we could feature you on the next
Cutie Minute.
time for our followers.
Cutie Minute.
Your thoughts in our voice.
Cutie Minute.
Not really 1 minute, but we're calling it.
Cutie Minute. So our first cutie commented on episode 81, is it hard to be a Filipino author? So this is September, and she said, I love that you featured a Filipino author on your podcast. You truly make the conversations not only interesting, but as well as diverse as it can be. I agree that back then, our own writers were not given the recognition they deserved in our own bookstores. So many great Filipino writers, but so little attention given to them. My favorite Pinoy book was by Jessica Zafra, titled Chicken Pox for the Soul.
Ooh.
I think I was in high school then when I read that book, and even then I thought her book could easily outsell foreign books because of how well she wrote. So actually, I read this book, I think in high school also, and
But why is it chicken pox?
she's she's a comedy writer.
Okay. So it's a take on the chicken soup.
Yes, it's a spoof of Chicken Soup for the Soul. She was just writing like essays that were funny.
Interesting. Thank you, September. Do you remember?
21st night of September.
The
Okay.
next cutie is from Zen Zero Cook. And this is in relation to episode 82. Do Filipinos like to read books? And Zen Zero Cook says, growing up, I hated reading because it was never for leisure. Books was more of a studying implement. My day-to-day schedule was jam-packed with activities that as a kid I cannot justify just sitting down and consume a book for fun. Now I do like to read books. With my IG handle, you would probably know by now that I love reading cookbooks, with pictures of course. Another kind of book I love reading is manga. I was lucky enough to find a non-shrink wrapped book at National Bookstore kids section when my mom left me there one time, and it was a Digimon book, and that was my introduction to Japanese animation or manga.
Not mango. Okay.
Not mango, manga. Manga. We have those encyclopedias that peddlers were selling, and guess we were the lucky ones that had the full volumes from A to Z. Like, shoo! Oh, this is a
Yeah,
good
that's why I
expression as well.
chose this. Yeah, can you explain what that is?
Laishu is also a flip around word, and it's social. Like if you're fancy,
Okay.
you're social. Ooh, so social. So laishu, social.
Ah,
So
but it's super
You get it?
flip that it's confusing. But it's a Bisaya term, right? You use it in Cebu because I've never heard this before.
yeah, I think mostly in Cebu.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
laishu, social.
Mm-hmm.
So you would say like, ooh, so fancy. So in Tagalog, you would say, oh, social. Social.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I see.
And Zen Zero Cook says, P.S. Around 2012, when I left the Philippines and there was already a Power Books in Ayala Center, Cebu, kung asa ang mga more laishu people hang out. Yeah, Ayala wasn't for me. I was more of a Gaisano guy.
Oh, okay.
For book recommendations, I've liked the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown, Paradise Kiss by Ai Yazawa, sounds Japanese, and The Food Lab by Kenji Lopez Out. ALT? That's a really interesting last name because it's a keyboard button.
But
right?
it really is that's really his name. J. Kenji Lopez Out. Yeah.
I would love for Kenji Lopez Out to have a kid and he would call him CTRL.
Why?
CTRL.
Yeah.
Out.
Control Alt Delete. Sure.
CTRL Out. That would be so cool.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. You say so. All right. So that's it. Pansit again.